Okay, hello everybody. Um, I'm just going to give you guys a couple minutes here to get going. Make sure everyone can hear me, that I'm live. If someone can just say something in there and let me know I'm live, that'd be great. Okay, all right, so hello everybody. Hope everyone's well and ready for another live stream. It's been a little while since we've been on, about 2 weeks. It's been really busy here out in the Elrond world. And yeah, can someone just confirm that everything's good? Nothing's wrong with the webcam or anything like that? Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so welcome everybody to today's live stream. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Helios Staking here first and just what we've done, and then get into 3.5, and then what's next. Just a quick few housekeeping items from last month. Last month we had a pretty good month. In May, we had some really good really good APR on some days. A lot of our nodes were active. The beginning of this month has been really well. Our nodes are performing really well, so that's great. Last month we also added to our infrastructure fund. We added 10.75 eGold into the infrastructure fund. We now have 16.9 in there. I'm just going to drop the wallet address here for a minute here into here. So if anyone wants to see that, copy that, drop this in here. Okay, so that's our reserves wallet for anyone who wants to know. On that topic, I think what we're going to do with the reserves wallet is once MEX kind of gets going, we're going to start using that into an eGold and stablecoin LP and start compounding that. I think it's important that we have some stablecoin in our reserves, and adding to that LP and compounding the eGold stablecoin LP, I think is the best bet. This way, if there is a big dip, we'll have a lot of BUSD. And we'll actually be able to track that liquidity pool as well. So every month we'll be able to see the benefits and how much that reserves wallet is actually growing. So it'll be a cool little experiment as well. So that's just a little update on that. Okay, so next up, as you know, Phase 3.5 went live on Monday. So yoo-hoo, everybody. Super happy about that. I want to give a quick shout out to every other validator out there and every other provider who's now in the list. A lot of new people have shown up. You can see APRs have been moving all over the place, and there's a lot of good benefit out there. I'm really happy to see this. I'm happy to see more people showing up. I'm happy to see a lot more options for eGold staking out there, and getting more people involved. I think it's the road to decentralization, which that's what I'm all about and what a lot of others are all about. So I think that's huge, that we have so much. So on to what happened with Helios. So with Helios, as you know, our private investors, we all decided together to merge in 12 of our private nodes, and that was 12 nodes, and we merged those yesterday, which brought our node total from 26 to 38, and we've landed at about 15% APR at the moment, with about 5,000 space available. I don't really see that filling super quick, because there's a lot of really good options out there now. So we won't be adding any more for a while, at least until that opens up. And then we might look at some other clever ways to maybe to see what we can do as well. But I think 15% is actually a really good number. It's gonna drop a little bit lower just based on that extra 5,000 as it comes in, but we'll probably we'll probably start to slow down at that point until phase four. The closer we get to phase four, we'll probably start looking at opening the gates a bit more and that sort of stuff. So that's really good news. I was hoping to see it go a little bit bigger than 15%, to be honest. But I left that 7,000 EE gold in room just so that other people can join. And I think what's important here is, again, shifting that conversation from APR over to the value that locking up staking and the scarcity actually provides. The more people we get in, the more coin we get staked, the less that's in circulation, and that whole vibe. So that's kind of what's happening there. And yeah, I'm really happy. Our pool is also now in a really good position for phase four. By adding in all that e gold, we'll now have a lot more in order to bid, assuming that phase four is an auction process for nodes. We'll have a lot more e gold there in order to ensure that we have the good number of nodes. So it just puts us in a much better position. So I'm fairly happy about that as well. Um, as for what's next, phase four obviously is what's coming next. But what's next for Helios and where are we gonna go? So I just want to make a quick announcement. And as a lot of you know, I've been asked by a few community members, a couple other validators have talked about doing a kind of a staking provider, or a behind the scenes type tutorial course of some sort, how to run validators, and all that sort of stuff, and maybe how to run a staking as a service company. So on July 1st of this year, we'll be releasing the Helios Staking knowledge base. And what the knowledge base is, I've been working on this for quite a long time. And what the knowledge base is it's basically just a Git book that is going to have a ton of tutorials on how to use Linux, how to use Telegram, how to run a node, how to market, the legal things you have to do to start a staking as a service stuff, the financials. It's going to go through absolutely everything, and it's gonna give people the tools in order to build their own potential validators, or learn more just on the tech side of Elrond. It's extremely comprehensive. Mark, 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 the other founder of Helios, he'll be working on doing kind of a Linux tutorial, just teaching people how to use Linux. It's actually something that is kind of just skipped over in the staking world. A lot of people just assume you already know Linux, and the fact is some people don't, and there's a steep learning curve there at times. So we're gonna put together just a little bit on Linux. Then we'll have information, then just how to run a validator, an observer. Then we'll have information on how to set up a staking as a service company, how to build your website, how to market your website, and all that good stuff. And obviously, as you know, we're also validators for Injective. So eventually, we'll also have some information on how to join in the Injective network as well. So it's something we've been working on in the background. I toyed around with I toyed around with releasing, a video at a time, or this and that, and doing it that way. But I think me and Mark decided it's best to just launch it all at once and have just a wealth of content right away, so that you eager beavers out there could just go through it all as fast as you can. And it also puts a bit of fire up my behind. Sorry, I I didn't want to swear there. This being a stream and all, but it also puts a bit of fire behind me and Mark, to put something together that's going to bring some serious value to Elrond. So to Elrond and the community, and actually just the staking community. It's obviously going to be a lot focused around Elrond in the beginning, and we'll also have some injective stuff. But a lot of it's just going to be basic knowledge as well. How to monitor a server. You don't need to be running Elrond for that, or how there'll also be how to monitor your Elrond servers, but what tools we use, such as we have Telegram, we have Zabbix, we have Grafana. The list is massive, and all these things are going to be really beneficial. So July 1st is our launch date. I'm going to commit to that here today. July 1st is actually Canada Day, which is kind of hilarious. As some of you might know, I'm Canadian, Canadian Irish. I'm a dual citizen. But yeah, so July 1st, Canada Day, we'll release the knowledge base, and I hope a lot of you will like that. And we'll also open it up for community submissions at that point too. So if anyone has a tutorial they want to do or anything like that, they'll be more than welcome to do so, and add that in. So that's some exciting news there. What else we got? There's That's basically one of the main things. I'm also kind of working close with Elrond Partners on a few things. Same as the Warriors, we're getting a lot closer to a merch store, and redoing kind of the partner site a bit, and doing some more interactive things there. So I'm really excited about that. As you know, the community means everything to me, and being able to work closely with Elrond Partners, Elrond Warriors, and all the guys in there is also really good, and we're working on two projects together there as well, using my web development background as well. Okay, so I think that's about it for news. I could keep talking about the knowledge base and that sort of stuff, but we'll do a whole new a whole new stream on that. So if there's anyone out there who has questions, we have one question here now. I'm gonna leave this all up for questions, and I can talk about a few other things afterwards if there are no questions, but let's go with our first question, and that's from Ikosov. Ikosov. I hope I said that right. Apologies if I didn't. So if I'm staked on Elrond Foundation nodes, do you know when I will have to think to move to another SP? This is in phase 4. Good question. So for now, foundational nodes, obviously stay there. Don't leave for now. But when foundational nodes do get removed, there's either going to be, I don't know this for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a bridge that'll be created that'll allow you to just transfer your e-gold to your desired provider. Or the other option is you're going to need 10 days to unbond, and then at that point, before phase 4, I think a lot of us are going to open the gates. As you know, here at Helios, our plan is to reach 250k e-gold staked, and once we reach that amount, we'll keep redelegation on so that people can compound, but we won't go forward past 250k with the current network parameters. We don't want to get any higher than 2-3% of the network. As you know, we believe in decentralization. So it's either going to be you're going to want to unstake 10 days before phase 4, and there'll be a ton of information. I'll do a stream beforehand. People will Elrond that, but as I said, I wouldn't be really all that surprised to see a bridge or some kind of thing within Maiar or no, sorry, within the Elrond wallet. That'll just bridge it over to your desired provider. But again, that's just me speculating on knowing the team and what it is they may do or not do. Okay, so we have another question here from Gold Hold. Hodl. So am I correct in thinking there's no limit to the number of observer nodes allowed on the network? Correct. There is no limit, but it's you don't like I remember a little ago we had a lot of observers, and a lot of them were all on the same shard, and that kind of caused a bit of an issue. But yeah, there is no limit. So I think we did a while ago. There was a bit of an issue with just because there's so many observers all on one shard. There was a bit of a lag on something, but I think that that's since been fixed. It got patched fairly quickly. So yeah, and on the other hand of things, you could always run observers on the testnet. You can run observers on DevNet. So in the tutorials, I talk about how you should be running your first observers maybe on DevNet. Um, Testnet is a really good place to run observers too and all that sort of stuff. However, and I mean you can also turn them into validators. However, the testnet is constantly changing, and every time that database gets reset, all your work gets redone, and you have to redo it. So it's always better to just stay on DevNet. In the future, Helios will run our own private testnet so that people can play on there, and we'll make sure it'll always be the most up to date version of the mainnet. And of course there you can then practice staking your validator. You can also practice doing your staking as a service contract. You can also practice using the React.js delegation manager template that's out there, and that's all in our knowledge base. And you're gonna get all that information delivered to you from me and Mark, doing a few tutorial videos here or there, which will all be released on the same day. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on our URL as well. So yeah. Okay, Adrian, what are the highest risks you see regarding the upcoming decks? Well, that's a good question. I don't see too many risks. I mean, there's always there's like risks. There's always the risk of things like impermanent loss and all that sort of stuff. And I guess we can start talking about that and liquidity pools a bit more. Helios and myself and Mark and our other private investors, we're all pretty big into liquidity pools as well, LP providing. What I've discovered over time is if you believe in a coin and it has some good returns on its LP tokens, you should actually just jump into the LP and just take a long-term view of 2-3 years and compound that LP, maybe peel off a bit of profit here or there of the rewards. And the reason for that is because one, the risk of impermanent loss is probably the biggest thing that people need to understand. And what impermanent loss is, and I'm going to try to explain this, but I'm sorry if I mess up a bit, but I understand it very well. So let's think of it as a teeter-totter, right, or a balance scale. When you first enter into a liquidity pool, you have a ratio of say E gold to MEX, and both those tokens have that ratio at that moment. But if MEX all of a sudden does a big runner and say does a 10x, and E gold only does say like 100, say 1 or 2x, you would have been better off just holding MEX and E gold at that exact moment. And you would have had more USD value at that exact moment. However, because you're earning all these rewards on the back end, that's making up the difference. And if you keep compounding those rewards through, what's going to happen over time is you're going to have a surplus of liquidity pool tokens. And if you're very, very, I want to say religious about it, is once you put into that LP, set a timer of 365 days of not ever taking that LP out and compound every single day. If you do that, you won't have to worry about any of the impermanent loss. And in 365 days, you're going to have a huge amount of LP tokens, and even if the price of both tokens don't even move, you're going to have a really, really good result. I think the risk back to the risk is obviously people just not understanding impermanent loss. I read too often on Twitter people who put in, say, one coin of each, and then one coin does a 10x, and then they have, only half of one coin and 1.2 of the other coin, and they don't understand, and then they have a technical loss. LP pools are long-term, long-term things, and with what they're doing with mechs and where you can lock in, it's going to protect you as well from selling and taking an impermanent loss. The word impermanent means it's not permanent, and as long as you take your rewards and you either compound them or you even or you even take your principal back first, then you'll be fine. That's probably the only real risk I can see, that's out there. So let me just move on. I could keep talking about that. I'm sure I'll get back into to mechs and all that again in a minute. So obviously, if more details come out by the network about start date and when date from the nodes, you'll let us know. Correct? Yeah, of course. I'll do another stream. And obviously, Elrond's going to let everybody know, and when Phase 4 details come out, we'll get all that information. So don't worry about that. So Adrian, follow-up question. How will MEX be integrated into the ecosystem from a staking provider perspective? From a staking provider perspective, there's no real thing that's going to integrate into the staking contracts or anything like that. I mean, you're already earning 1.5 times the amount of MEX by being in a staking, so it is already integrated. So because you're staking, you're earning more MEX than you would if you were just holding Elrond. So that's obviously a really big benefit in terms of how MEX will be integrated into the ecosystem. I mean, for us at Helios and myself personally. I'm going to be providing a lot of liquidity to MEX, and I know a lot of other staking providers are going to be doing the same, and a lot of community members are going to do the same. And I'm just going to touch on why that is. So I don't know if anybody knows what TVL is, and I'll just explain that. And that's your total value locked, and what your TVL number is basically how much USD value of locked liquidity there is in the pool. And what I've noticed over time through different AMNs is the more TVL, the higher the TVL goes, and the faster that grows, the more eyes people get on your AMN, and the faster it grows. Our goal here should be to get that TVL number up as fast as possible. And this being Elrond, and with staking going as fast as it did, and I think we're at 63% staking now. Maybe we're 64. I haven't checked in a little bit, but our next goal as a community is, in my opinion, and as a staking provider, is to add as much liquidity as possible, as fast as possible into MEX. And what that's going to do is it's going to get more eyes on us. It's going to make sure we have liquidity. It's going to ensure a stable platform. And with the way and incentives that MEX is having in terms of locking it up for longer in order to receive more rewards and all that sort of stuff, it makes sure that the liquidity isn't bouncing from yield farm to yield farm. One of the big issues out there, and with a lot of yield farms, is the money just moves in DeFi, right? So you had Sushi Swap, and a lot of liquidity was there. Then Pancake Swap, and then there's Polygon is starting to take some of the liquidity. There's Vault Finance on BSC. There's tons of stuff happening out there, of liquidities just bouncing around, and I think the game changer here for Elrond is that they're going to provide locked liquidity options and reward those people who do lock liquidity over time. Personally, I'm going to lock my liquidity. Helios is going to lock the liquidity. All my investment partners are going to lock their liquidity. And I also know for a fact that many other staking providers are going to be doing the same. I know Jose, Wolfgang are planning to do it. I assume Eddie as well. I've heard a lot of chatter. I've been very vocal in one of our validator groups about how providing liquidity as a Helios or as a staking provider is really, really important. It's up to us to build up to build that up, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I really do believe it's a very lucrative thing to do. And as I said before, providing liquidity is a long-term thing. So if you believe in Elrond, like we all do, and then providing liquidity and sitting long-term on that is just a no-brainer. So yeah, so that's that. That's a good question, and something I can just keep rambling on about, it seems. Um, okay, so the on-ramp for Americans to buy in Myer yet? I knew that question was going to come. It comes every time from you. Um, no updates. We'll get the update as soon as you do. I don't have any special information on that. So hopefully sooner than later. We know there's good ground happening with Elrond in Miami and stuff. So we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait. It takes time. I know that the American legal system and regulations is a bit of a minefield to go through. So maybe they have to have a physical presence there before they'll allow that. So who knows? We don't know. We don't know what's going on in the background, but we do know that it's being worked on consistently and is a top priority. It's just legal stuff. Okay, so if we want to add MEX to a liquidity pool, do we also need to pair coins such as eGold? Okay, for liquidity pools, yes. Liquidity pools almost always have a pairing. There are such thing as one-sided liquidity pools that are out there. I think Centaur does this, and there's a few others trying this, but I don't know too much about it. But in terms of pairing, yes, there will be a MEX only staking option too. So if you don't want to get into liquidity pools, you can just stake your MEX directly into a pool to earn more MEX. But so yes, but yeah, it'll be eGold MEX, eGold stablecoin, maybe eGold something else, and then over time, as more tokens get bridged over, you're going to see more, and it's just going to be like any AMN out there. I advise you to go maybe to something like Pancake Swap or Vault Finance or Sushi Swap. A few of those ones. Go check them out. Go and check their pools out. Go and see how they work. Matic now, Polygon has a few out there too. So just go play around, see how they work. Because it's going to be fairly similar, but again, there's going to be a few game changers in there from what I believe and from what I understand from just reading. Okay, so if we want to have a silly question, do you have a guess regarding the when released? Anyone's guess, to be honest. We know the circulating supply, so I mean, if or we know we have an idea of what the circulating supply will be and what the emissions will be, but until that's finalized, and we also know that there's vesting schedules to the release of the coins. So what our initial circulating supply is versus what our initial TVL is going to be, it's going to be interesting to say the least. But I have no clue. I'd love to see us launch and get into top 300 200 right off the bat. That's should be easy enough. Top 200 coins, that is, and then from there start building up. It's our TVL that's going to have to go up. I've no doubt that right off the bat we'll reach a pretty high spot. It's all about that TVL number and getting eyes on Elrond and seeing those returns, and that sort of stuff. And I'm really excited for it, to be honest. I love providing liquidity, and I love staking, and I love yield farming. And I don't trade anymore. I actually just provide liquidity personally, and so I'm really looking forward to be able to do this on Elrond and provide liquidity there to my number one project and my biggest hold, and obviously Helios' biggest hold. So I'm super excited for it. And as time goes, I'll do more streams about it. If anyone has any questions, you can reach out to me directly. Okay, so the Myer Exchange launch date towards the end of the month. as of right now, we don't have any official launch date. However, we've had a mainnet upgrade that brings out the VM, the new version of Arwin. That's those features will go live on the 22nd, I believe. That'll allow for Myar. We've had two testnet upgrades this week, I believe. One DevNet upgrade. So there's a lot of activity going on in the background with the validators and upgrades. So we're getting close, and that date is going to come sooner than we know. Just on that and dates and all that sort of stuff. I think I think it's important that this gets put out in a very solid way. And as you know, the Elrond tech team and Elrond in general, they don't put out anything that's broken. They test and test and test and test. There's too many chains out there that just skip over, minor bugs that could turn into bigger bugs. And one thing with Elrond, they'll find a bug that could be a problem in the future, but isn't at the moment. So instead of fixing it later, they fix it then. So with that said, I have no problem waiting for a more perfect project than sitting back and having something come out with significant bugs that doesn't work. And I say this every stream. And how many times has Elrond gone down? Everybody, zero, right? So, and that's because of this. That's because of meticulous work and that sort of stuff. And it's super important, to say the least. Okay, so let's see what we got. We are 35 people watching this. I like to fill a special class with accelerated knowledge. Yeah, so I was actually thinking once knowledge base goes live, and that sort of stuff, I might start doing office hours maybe once a week and get people to come in. We can do it even on Google Meet or that sort of thing, and actually just see where everybody's at and maybe do each bit with me live for an hour. And if anyone's having problems or if anyone needs any help, we can also bring in guests and stuff with the knowledge base. There's a lot of guys out there with knowledge with better knowledge than me when it comes down to some things. We can get people in for the Zabbix stuff. We can get other validators in to help and stuff. But for now, what's going to happen is they'll just be all tutorial static videos. Not streamed, and then after that we can start streaming maybe office hours and that sort of stuff and get basically an accelerated class. And yeah, you forget, like all this will be obviously free, and there'll be no donations required or anything. It'll be completely free, open source. I'm not going to run a course or for 200 e-gold you can be in the professional course, or be part of my premium team. Like, I just don't believe in that stuff and monetizing this sort of stuff. I come from a marketing background and multi-level marketing, not multi-level marketing, but I come from a marketing and web development background, and digital infrastructure. And for me, I cannot stand multi-level marketing. It drives me nuts. Oh, sign up to this for $50, and then but yeah, you don't get any of this unless you pay us $800 a month. And like, that stuff is just, for me, I have no interest in monetizing this at all. So it's going to be completely free, and yeah, it'd be awesome to have a class, or a group of people who can just come on and follow along, and we'll get everyone to where they need to get. Okay, so Jonathan, thanks a lot for your feedback on previous quarter. According to you, what percentage of your wallet should you allocate to LP? Well, I can't really give you too much advice on that, to be honest. I can tell you kind of what I do. I dedicate, this is me personally talking. I have a layered strategy just in general. I have Bitcoin, Ethereum locked up at 30% of my portfolio. I have that in cold storage for 10 years. That's just a core position that sits there forever. It kind of keeps me protected. Then my e-gold position then would fill probably 50% of what I have, and then the remainder of that 20% I'd put towards LPs. The LPs are growing quickly to where 25%, 30% are coming, or they're going to become they're going to become the bigger positions because I'm compounding them and going the distance on long term. So they will become the bigger ones. But I think just from this is a personal thing again. From a very structured point of view, I think you should always have a core position locked away in cold storage. You should have something like a core position like for me it's e-gold, and a lot of us it's e-gold. They're staking away and also kind of locked away, and that kind of gives you the confidence to play around with your other 20%. Knowing that you have that there locked away for a rainy day. So that's probably the best advice I can give you. It's always going to be up to you what you choose to do. But that's basically what I do. And like I said, with compounding liquidity pools, you're going to see you're going to see exponential growth if you hang on for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then eventually that's going to dwarf my other positions. But yeah, I think I just froze there. Hold on a second. Yeah, there I did. I'm back. Sorry for that. Okay, so I hope that answered that question, Jonathan. Okay, so 35 people share to other 35 and compound. Yeah, let's compound. Let's compound the people. That's a good idea. Share Helios, and share the knowledge base. Tell more people. Smash the like button. Subscribe to my channel. All that stuff. Here I am just talking about how I don't like that stuff, but that's about all I'm going to say on that. Okay, Adrian, thank you, Adrian. Okay, John, newbie question: what would be the incentive to stake when all e-gold is rewarded? Okay, yeah, that is a good question. So the way the way e-gold staking works, and obviously you kind of have an idea, is that the foundation has put up 10 years worth of rewards in order to reward validators within the network and stakers. With the assumption that over the 10-year period, as we get more adoption, we'll have more transactions per second, which will then lead to higher fees that also get transfer. So in the next 10 years, what we hope to see, and I personally believe it's going to happen faster, with the amount of transactions that the AMN will bring, we'll start seeing more transactions per second. But once we start reaching 1,000 transactions per second, 1,500, 2,000, what we're going to start to see is those fees are going to start kicking in, and those fees are going to take over the rewards. So when all the foundational rewards are gone, what'll happen is it'll now be fees that'll be paying stakers, and there's a 10-year plan in play, in order to make sure that the fees do take that over, and it could become extremely lucrative, and that's why staying staked long term is also an extremely lucrative play. As well. I think doing the layered strategy between LP and staking, but with staking, once transactions go up to a certain level, there'll be some really good rewards coming in. So that's that question there. eGold Life, good question. As a stakeholder of eGold, you get a piece of all transactions for Elrond. Transaction fees, yeah, exactly. So that's right. So it's going to be good. Exactly, it's going to be great. Okay. So, do we have any other questions out there? A lot of good questions so far. I hope everyone's enjoying the stream so far. I've said a lot about some information that I have. Is there anything anybody wants to know specifically? If not, I can kind of just wind up the stream here, and just go for there. Okay, here we go. Okay, so do you have any ideas for apps that you don't have time for but want to see on the Elrond blockchain? Good question. I like this. So yeah, so I have a lot of good ideas for it, and I'm slowly working towards putting towards a plan to make these a reality. One thing about me is I'm taking a, React course, and I'm learning some stuff in order to be able to do a lot. I'm always looking for developers, but I'm kind of first want to make sure I build a solid business plan around set app and make sure that I have all those bases covered before I move forward. I'm a very I put things in containers, and I tend to make sure that I'm okay with that before I move forward. I don't kind of leave things hanging, and it's part of the reason for Helios's success. So one of the things I want to do is with the Elrond Warriors, we're working on the merch store. So once you get the merch store live, what I want to be able to do is allow users to upload their NFTs of an image that they'd like to see on a T-shirt or a product. When they upload that NFT, we'll see it, we'll approve it, just in case it has any bad content, porn, swear words, what have you. And then when someone purchases it, it'll automatically credit the royalty in e-gold to that person, and give the e-gold to the Warriors wallet for the cost of the item. We I've already through now payments been able to allow the merch store to pay strictly in e-gold. So the merch store will be an e-gold payment store strictly. I believe that's what's going to happen. We can't allow for more coins, Bitcoin. We can't allow for credit cards and all that stuff. But I'm not sure that we'll do that. It might just stay a strictly e-gold payment system. So that's now integrated. So once we kind of get all the products finalized and that launched out, we'll invite kind of some of the community to give some designs. And initially, there'll be some things, but what we would like to do over time is connect someone's NFT, and give them commission for their T-shirt design or their mug design and all that sort of stuff. I know there's some people out there. There's partners already working on NFT portals. There's all that happening out there, but yeah, I think that's kind of our goal after getting the shop out, and we'll look to automate it more and give some money back. And then the other thing is, in a year, maybe 2 years, I'm looking at doing a collateralized lending and borrowing portal through Helios. There's a lot of legal around doing this, and there's a lot of work, but I really want to build something out like that in the future, to help kind of people within our ecosystem to be able to borrow and lend and collateralize that. I think there's a few other partners out there who are working on collateralized lending, but eventually I'd love to see that under the Helios banner. And yeah, and then apart from that, just look at the things you use every day, and then just try and figure out how to put that over to Elrond. That's the way I look at that sort of stuff. Okay, eGold hold. We have a question. Do you expect the current 63% stake to drop as eGold is moved to LPs? We seem to have established at 63. It's a good question. I think in general, the education around liquidity pools and impermanent loss is pretty good. We did a poll on Helios a few days ago, and 74% of people are planning to contribute to the LPs. I can only speculate what's going to happen. I would imagine you might see a bit of a drop, but at the same time, I would very much so stress not to not if you're there, not to pull out the lion's share of your e-gold out of staking. Only take a small amount and put it in. Staking is always the most important place and the best place to put your e-gold long term. And yeah, like MEX and liquidity pools are going to provide some really lucrative opportunities, but you want to make sure that that core position is there and held. So if you can, I would suggest freeing up more e-gold and building your own a liquidity pool beside whatever MEX you received with extra cash. And now I know that's really hard to do and easier said than done. But if you are if you are planning to leave the staking to go to the liquidity pools, I'd advise you to maybe only take 10% to 15% of your e-gold out, and make sure you stay with the consistent staking, and make sure that the scarcity and the security of the network stays strong. It's not. It's they're two entirely different things. And I think a layered strategy demands that you have staking and liquidity pools, but always go staking first. Make sure you have a nice solid base, and then maybe instead of compounding your rewards into staking, use those to go into the liquidity pool. But to each their own. I only envision staking to go up over time with Phase 4, but I think on launch initially we might see a bit of a wobble, but I don't think it'll be as big as we think. Um, okay, Kevin, what would you think? What would you say to people who are worried about the price action with eGold at these levels? Good question. I think I've just frozen again. Hold on a second. I just gotta refresh my camera. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, not frozen. That's a good question. Okay, so what? I'll just say it again in case you couldn't hear my voice. What would you say to people who are worried about the price action with eGold at these levels? Okay, well, first off, yeah, I don't like speculating too much. It's not really speculating, but you have to remember, always up isn't a thing. It doesn't, like, this whole always up, and oh, it's like this year what it was. Oh, the institutional investors are here, and we got Mark Cuban, we got Elon Musk, we got even that Kevin O'Leary guy. They're all coming on board. So yeah, always up, always up, always up. But that's not how markets work. That's not how the economy works. That's not how things work. It's just the way it is. Parabola is correct. So anytime you see a big green giant candle, you can almost guarantee that that is going to correct. And right now the whole market is correcting. And to be honest, eGold has actually done okay. We haven't corrected back to our original levels. We're still doing okay. A lot of people here who are worried, just remember, you weren't planning to sell today or tomorrow anyways. Your plan was, most people's plans here is to hold 2, 3, 4 years. We've done numerous polls on how long people want to hold their ego for, and it's always at least 2 years. So just remember, you weren't planning to sell now, and you got to get your mindset out of the psychology of on paper you're at a loss, but really if you're staking and you believe in this and you're compounding, then just stick to the plan, keep doing that, and eventually you'll be back in profit. And then when we come back to a bull market, you're gonna just see insane profit. And I guess from a personal standpoint, and people out there make it seem like it's terrible to realize a bit of profit, and that it's the worst thing in the world. Just, it's okay to open the cash register sometimes. Remember, you're in this game to become financially free, and sometimes it's okay to open the cash register. So just, that's about all I can say. I don't really want to speculate on anything necessarily, but I just want to kind of squash the idea of this hold culture that says you shouldn't be you shouldn't be you shouldn't be you shouldn't sell, and you should hold and ride or die and all that sort of stuff. I mean, selling a little bit at a time is perfectly fine, and staking and providing liquidity pools, it's okay. So don't be worried about the price if you're staking and planning to do liquidity pools. Just remember where the market is right now, and remember that we're correcting from a giant parabola, and unfortunately Bitcoin kind of rules the roost, right? So we just got to watch that and see what happens. And hopefully within the next few months and towards the end of the year, we'll see that super cycle again, and we're off to the races. But that's, again, speculation. Anything can happen. Okay, let's see. Thank you for clarifying. What, maybe it's too technical, but what can we store data on the blockchain? But we can store data on the blockchain, but how can we store image and videos without having them on a centralized server? Um, I think there's a company called Akash, AKT, which is working on, and there's another one called Aon, AION, and what they're working on is actually providing decentralized content delivery networks. And Akash, AKT, they're working on providing decentralized cloud computing, which would actually solve this very problem. And I believe also with the stuff in the background that's probably going on with Elrond, an NFT portal, which will come down the line from a partner or maybe Elrond itself, are going to have these kind of options in order to provide redundancies. But there are people out there working diligently on this. There's another one, API 3, which I think are looking at decentralizing APIs and improving that. So all that technical stuff is happening in the background, and eventually these content delivery networks, decentralized content delivery network is going to be absolutely amazing in my opinion, and decentralized cloud computing. So they're kind of the things to look out for. So last question from Adrian: do you think some marketing publicity would help accelerate? Why does this seem to be at all a priority? Okay, so Adrian, good question. I actually there is a lot of marketing going on in Elrond, and there's a lot of us out there pushing the daily grind. There's the Warriors. There's everybody out there. There's a team. The team right now, they're building rockets. The equivalent of rockets. Um, and they're 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 constantly trying to push a product out. And what I've always admired about Elrond is its product and tech first. Why go out there and market when a product or the tech isn't fully there yet, right? So I think what you'll see once Maiar gets released or the Maiar exchange gets released, you're going to see some increased marketing again, because now that product is there and that best value. I think of Frozen again. Yeah, this XSplit VCAM just keeps freezing on me. I don't know why. Anyways, um, but it is a priority. But tech is always first, and until that's perfect, then putting a ton of cash behind the marketing of, say, the Meyer exchange is actually just not that great of idea. There's a lot of us out there already educating. A lot of people know about it, but once it goes live and we get a TVL number and we start trending, you're going to see a lot more people jumping in on board. You're going to see a lot more marketing and a lot more stuff happening. So just be a bit patient on that, and you'll see that. But I think personally, I would rather a company that focuses on tech than is just all marketing. You know how many projects out there are just all marketing and hype? Oh, we're releasing this in 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks, they just release something saying, "Oh, a few hours. Oh, this," and it's all just hype. There's the guy we all know so well. I won't mention his name, but the hype master. JT. So that sort of stuff. It's not good. And if yeah, sorry, it just annoys me. I just don't like people who just market, um, and don't actually do any work. And when they do, the actual work is riddled with bugs. The contract gets the contract didn't get audited, and it's not a good scene. Okay, so what also last question for me? What software are you using for streaming? Oh yeah, there you go, Valbots. It's XSplit. The VCam though, it keeps freezing my face for some reason. I actually meant to just go direct from my cam this time, but I forgot last minute, so I'm on the VCam now and it's freezing. So sorry for that. Okay, so marketing is overrated to an extent when you worry solely on marketing, not tech. Yeah, exactly. You become a meme coin. Exactly. Someone today reached out to me and said, "Oh, I want to create a meme coin, and how do I do that?" I'm like, block. Like I have no interest in that at all. It's just that game is gonna very quickly just go away. Like regulation over the next 5-10 years is unfortunately gonna come, but it's not really unfortunate because it's going to provide the necessary legalities, and and adoption to allow in people who require that. Big institutional investors have came in now, which is great. Retailers coming in, but there's still people out there and countries out there who aren't so sure, and there's gonna be regulation put out there, and all these meme coins and all these fly by nights, or all these ones that are out there, rug pulls, or all these ones that are just basically marketing and like a bunch of really high emissions for a bit, like, and then that liquidity just keeps moving. All these guys are just gonna go away. So better off stick to the tech, stick to Elrond, stick to things like Elrond. Like I said, we Helios and myself, we're also an injective protocol, and so that we're sticking to that sort of stuff, and with good tech and good ideas and good products comes marketing. Marketing comes for free. Look at us now. I'm here talking about this out of my own personal thing. I wasn't paid to do this by Elrond. I wasn't any of that. I just came and decided to talk. Elrond Talks is the same thing. And there's every other one of you out there, warriors, the partners, everybody out there is doing the same. So we're gonna get there. Just be patient. Life's not a track meet; it's a marathon, guys. And so just remember that. Overrated, 100% marketing, and professional block. That's funny. Okay, so if there's any more questions, I'm gonna leave this. We've been on here an hour. Apparently, I can just talk forever into a camera, so that's good, I guess. Yeah. So if there's any more questions, this is your last chance. I'm gonna shut down the stream now in just a second. Thank you. Spoken well. Blah blah blah. Okay. I'm just gonna say thanks to everybody. Okay, so I just want to say thanks to eGold Hold for coming around. Mark for moderating, and Valid Blocks. I think Eddie is here. We have ICOSOF, Elrond Partners are here. We have Adrian. We have Florin. Thank you. We have Professional eGold Holder. Thanks for all the support. Adrian. We got Ione. Thank you. I hope I said that right. We have Ulrich. Thank you. We have Popescu. Again, I hope I said that right. I'm absolutely terrible with names and saying them right, so apologies if I said it bad. I don't mean to be mean. Jonathan, we have Adrian, we have John, eGold Life, thanks for coming around. We have what's up? We have, who else we got? We got Valid Blocks, thank you for coming around and helping. And Rico, nice to see you. I was wondering where you were. There you are, Helios a day. Thank you, Rico. Okay, so I think that's it. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream, and the replay will be live right after this. Soren, thank you. And that's it. All right, guys. Chat to you later. Oh, I'm frozen again. Hold on. I don't want to go out on a frozen thing. Okay. I'm not frozen anymore. Okay. So chat to everybody later. And look out for the next Elrond Talks. There should be one coming in the next week or two. I know there's a few plans out there for at least 1 or 2 episodes coming. So just get ready for that as well. Sorry that we haven't done one in a while. It's just been extremely busy with everything, the mainnet upgrades and 3.5 and a few other things that are going on in the background. So we will be back. And there you go. Okay. See you guys later. I am now ending the stream.